How often do you let music transport you to somewhere else? I mean, really sit back, maybe headphones, maybe just chill in the moment, but get into what you're listening to and let it take you somewhere else. I am Tavish Carduff, here representing our raw material for Music Week. We are going to talk about the music pillar. This session, so the entire 12 weeks, we will be looking at each pillar through the lens of music, striking a chord with each pillar so that we recognize the maybe spiritual components or our larger connection to each of the pillars. So music itself moves us. You hear it playing, you get up and dance. Physically, we are like almost moved without knowing it. A lot of times music comes on and I will notice that I'm dancing or my body is moving around even if I'm standing in a grocery store line or something like that. And I notice people are staring. But I have a tendency to start moving when music comes on. I think we all can, and sometimes we just have it conditioned not to. We have spots in our body that are tense that we don't, that those signals like, oh, here's something uplifting, it doesn't give us that signal to move. When we move, obviously it's good for our physical body and good for our breathing. Emotionally, music can take us to places that we need to go, can set a mood, and when we get to the emotional weeks, we'll talk about that. Mentally, same thing. We can use it to design our mindset on something. We can use it to make plans. We can use music to help us provide structure to the things that we're trying to build. But since it is Music Week and we're talking about the pillar of music, we are doubled up on music. So let's talk from the point of spirituality. And by that, I mean music connects us to something outside of ourselves. If you listen to me before, you've heard me talk about the end of a concert where everybody is singing together and you feel connected. Everybody's one, your neighbor's your best friend. And then you get to the parking lot and that whole thing gets dropped. The feeling of connection goes away as we all jockey for position trying to get out. And I think that's really important to see how quickly we can shift from feeling very connected to going straight into a self-serving feeling without even realizing that we've done it. Like that shift happens so seamlessly. And when we're paying attention to it, when we notice it, then it starts to mean something to us. But any other time, it's just regular movements. When I was a kid and involved in church, I remember learning the term secular. So there was the music that we listened to at church, and then there was secular music, which was anything not religious, I guess. And I remember drawing parallels that there was so much spiritual meaning in a lot of secular music. So I know that whenever I had a project to do within the church, I brought secular music and used it spiritually. So this is something I've been kind of conditioned to do since I was a kid. I love to look for spiritual feelings from music that maybe isn't designed to be spiritual. Sometimes we can feel spiritually connected to something, feel connected in spirit to things that maybe aren't even positive. They don't even have to be uplifting. They might just resonate as something that we feel connected to. So in the spiritual aspect of music, it's more that connection, that feeling as if you are a part of something that is bigger than you, that is outside of you, and something that can actually transport you or move you to a different state of being, to a different state of breathing, to a different state of feeling like you are valid in the world or like you have purpose. Music can also lead you towards passion, just like so many other things. But when we spend time listening to the things that bring us up, we tend to have thoughts that bring us up. I am not an opera fan necessarily, but every time I have watched an opera, I'm fascinated by their ability through music alone to convey a story. And I'm probably, when I'm in there, I'm not into it enough to to not even really be open to the storyline or understanding because I'm busy telling myself how much I don't understand. But when I leave there, I realize I can tell the story. Sitting in that audience and seeing how it resonates with the audience or the person that I go to the opera with that truly enjoys it, watching through him that excitement build and that, just feeling it in a body sitting next to you, just that electrical excitement coursing. You can't help but feel excited by it, even if it's not your thing. I think that there's so much that goes into what our parents or brothers, sisters, neighbors, cousins, whoever's close to you that was playing music around you, what kind of stuff was just around when you were a kid or as you were a teenager? What did your friends listen to? What kind of things were you exposed to? I know there was a lot of music that I didn't personally own or listen to, but at every high school party, these certain songs were on. And when I hear them, I don't know them like I know the music that I own, but I know them. And they take me back to these moments in high school that really put me in with, just random weird groups of people that I happened to be talking to when the song came on. And people that, maybe I'm not even friends with, but I just had a moment with. Those kinds of things, those kind of experiences are really cool for the spiritual aspects of music. When I was a kid, my uncle was a huge fan of Kool and the Gang and the Commodores, and I got to listen to some stuff that I wouldn't know at all. And now, 40, 50 years later, I'm really grateful to have a little bit of that background just in my memory. I was young enough to not know necessarily who it was, but when it comes on, I know the song and I feel connected to a genre that I don't know a lot about just because of that early exposure from being at my uncle's house a couple times a year. Those little tiny moments stay with us. Those songs that show up, let's say in movies, well-timed in a spot where a point in a movie means something to us, all of a sudden a song can mean something different. I'll leave you with a silly just ego thought. When I'm trying to think of what the song was, at the end of Jerry Maguire, they're walking and they're holding hands with the kid, and I think it's Bob Dylan's Shelter from the Storm. And for some reason, up until that movie, I thought that was a song that people didn't know about, and at the end of the movie, I'm like, everybody's going to know this song now. And I had some disappointment that I was somehow losing it. Like if it became everyone else's song, then it wasn't mine as much. And as silly as that is, it was a belief at that time, or at least a fear, or at least enough of a fleeting thought that it was a thought. So as we move into this week and connect ourselves to the music of our spirit, take the time to listen to something outside your comfort zone. Listen to your kids' music. Listen to your parents' music. I walked in the house the other day and my husband was playing classical, which isn't his style or mine, but it was great. And we probably spent a few hours listening to it and working and being incredibly productive, and realizing, wow, how cool if I knew these pieces, if I knew what they were, because they're called movements, right? They move you, and that's what they're intended to do. So let yourself be moved by music outside of your personal comfort zone. Give yourself the opportunity to be outside of your regular stuff and bringing in something that rocks your spirit. I will be back next week to talk about food, and we will see how music and food relate to each other. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and or our website, ourrawmaterial.com. Look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you.